Hi FlossTube, it's Stitching Addict back again. Yeah, it's been a while, so I figured I would do a stitching finish video for you. Life kind of happened. If anyone's interested in that, I can fill you in my next video, but this one is a finish video. And yeah, I'm in a bit of a different place. I have a new stitchy spot, and I have moved, and yeah, life just kind of got crazy. But I figured I'd show you my finishes, and that way you can kind of see what I've been up to over the last couple of years. Yeah, all right, so let's get started. I'm going to start with my latest finish. I just finished it this last week, so I'm actually very proud of this one. Yeah, so this is Nora Corbett's Sweet Pea. She's all done. She stitched on 28 count. I think it's Mystical Mermaid by Crafty Kitten. And here, I'll see if I could get a little closer here so you could see what see the detail in that. There we go. Yeah, it was my first time working with silks, so that was actually a lot of fun. I had no idea that it would be quite as much fun as it was. So, but now I'm hooked and I have a new start, and yeah, I will do a whips parade if anyone's interested. Just let me know in the comments below, and I will link all the patterns that I have done, provided that they are available to be linked. All right. Another one of my finishes that I finished earlier this year, sorry about that, is Lady Justice by Mirabilia. And she is done on 32 count graceful gray linen. Sorry about the wrinkles, but they've been rolled up and I haven't ironed them because I haven't had a chance to get them framed yet. So I'll come in a little closer so you can see what she looks like. I'm filming with a new iPad, so I'm trying to figure out everything here. She's gorgeous. She actually didn't take me that long to stitch, which was really good because I needed something that was quick and easy and all of the rest of that. So I finished her. I'll give you one more look of her. Yeah, and she's on all the called for everything. I bought her as a all kitted up and everything from Stitch It Central, which is my, I guess, my LNS. It's 18 or 19 hours away, but I order online. I do have a new LNS in Winnipeg, which is only an hour, 2 hours away, so I don't get there that often. But yeah, and another finish that I had this year was actually she was one of my unicorn charts, and another not local, but another stitchy friend offered me the use of her pattern because she wasn't planning on stitching her anytime soon. And so, yeah, it's Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia. I may have to stand up and back for you to get a good look at her. And she is stitched on, she is stitched on Home and Native Land, which is by Paigey Lane from Stitch It Central. It's their in-house hand-dyed. So she is all done. She has all the called for colors though. she was a lot of fun to stitch. I tend to be a bit of a monogamous stitcher. My goodness, I can't talk. Yeah, she's a bit of, she took me, what, 3 months to stitch? Not even. So yeah, lots of fun for me on that one. And yeah, so she was a lot of fun. I also got to stitch another one of my unicorn charts, which was fabulous. Again, this was a more local stitcher that let me borrow her pattern, and it is, sorry, gotta flip it over. Don't want to show her to you backwards or upside down. Oh, and that is upside down. My goodness. All right, this one I will have to stand up because she is massive. This is Mermaid of the Pearls. And she is on a fat half. Let me come in so you could see all the detail. She's on a fat half of Jewel of Atlantis by Fiberlicious. So absolutely gorgeous. She took me a while to stitch. I subbed out, I used all the call for DMCs, but I subbed out all the Krennic that I could for Petite Treasure Braid. And I've done a conversion chart for myself of Mill Hill beads and to Mill Hill to Delica and Krennic to Petite Treasure Braid. I've done my own conversion spreadsheet on that. So I converted all of the Krennic that I could to Petite Treasure Braid, simply because I like stitching with it better. And also, the beads are not the called for. The treasures are, like the little treasures in her tail. There we go. Those ones are the called for, but everything else is Hobby Lobby specials. I picked those up when I was in the States, and I switched out I did not like the heart charm, so I subbed it out for a conch shell. So you can see I'm gonna have to have a fairly deep frame to frame her, so I haven't gotten her framed yet, obviously. And so yeah, she was a lot of fun to stitch. There was some frogging and swearing and other evilnesses, but she's done, and she was one of my unicorn charts, so I am thrilled to have her done. So I managed to stitch 2 of my unicorn charts in the last year, which I know a lot of people don't get a chance to do. So I'm honestly, I'm very, very thrilled and thankful that there were so many lovely stitcher friends that were willing to loan me their patterns. Now on to finishes from last year, I believe. Okay. This one is Paris. Afternoon in Paris. And it has all the called for threads, overdyes, etc. I stitched this while I was sitting in the hospital with my dad. And yeah, and the fabric is I believe this was the December or June, I don't remember, But it was a limited edition fabric of the month by Crafty Kitten. So, yeah, I stitched that, and while I was sitting with my dad in the hospital, and yeah, that one was an interesting stitch with overdyes and everything, but it was a lot of fun. Next, hang on, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna do this in the right order here. I have a pile here and it all just kind of slipped. So I will start with, next is one that I think I may have shown in one of my previous videos. I don't remember. I haven't gone back and watched my previous FlossTubes. I've been crazy busy and it's getting close to Christmas and all of that other fun stuff. So I will show these again. This is Lavender and Lace Celtic Spring. And she is stitched on antique white. I believe it's Witchell or whatever. I don't know. It's just antique white. It's nothing special, but all the called for colors, including the needle paints. I did manage to get my hands on the purple needle paints. And yeah, so she's all done with Petite Treasure braid. I'll go in just a little bit closer. Sorry, I am having a lot of issues with doing this whole backwards thing. I'm really, really sorry. I will try to improve for next time. And there you go. That is Celtic Spring. Yeah, everything on her was called for. She was a joy to stitch. She actually only took me about 34 days to stitch. Again, monogamous. Ugh. I cannot say that word. I am so sorry. I usually only stitch on one piece at a time, unless it becomes an issue or I make a mistake, then it goes into timeout and I pick up one of my other whips that is also in timeout. But for the most part, they take me about, the Celtic lady took me about 34, 35 days to stitch, something like that. So yeah, and again, I'm planning on getting her framed. I just haven't gotten a chance to do that yet because framing costs money, and yeah, I'd rather spend that money on fresh stitching supplies. Just gotta be honest. All right, and the next one that I have here is Celtic Summer. She's also stitched on antique white, probably by Witch Hilt as well. I mean, nothing special with the antique white. She has all the called for purples. But the greens needle paints I was not able to get a hold of, and so I converted that to DMC. I did my own conversion simply because all the other conversions that I saw, they were nice, but not quite what I was after. So yeah. And Petite Treasure braid, all the beads, everything is as called for with this one. So, sorry, I have to look down to get my roll up started. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. Yeah, she also took me about 34 days to stitch. She was a pretty quick stitch, which was really nice because I needed some quick stitches. Next is, oh goodness, I need to research this one. Okay, pardon all the fuzzies on the side, but this is Celtic Autumn. And she is a complete conversion. She is done on 28 count tea dyed I believe even weave of some sort. I will link Stitch Essential below. That's where I get all my supplies for her. But yeah, I did a complete conversion on her. And I included the little leaf buttons there trailing from her hand. I keep moving to the wrong side. I am so sorry, guys. There we are. She was a bit of a challenge to stitch because of the complete conversion. Normally you would get, originally she's done in purples and blues and yellowy golds, and I did not think that that was very autumny. I live in Canada, and so I tried to mimic the color of maple leaves and the changing colors around here. So yeah, that's what I did with her. My next piece is Celtic Winter. I did a conversion on her as well. She has, in the original, she has gold in her skirt, like down here, and gold all up and down the motifs on the side. But I didn't think that looked very frosty and wintry, so I did a conversion on that. So I'll just scroll through there. And yes, there is Whisper in here. It was my first experience with Whisper. Not my last, but my first. And I learned quite a few lessons. And I now know to use very, very short lengths, a size 24 needle, and be prepared for frustration. It wasn't actually that bad once I figured out that I needed to do short lengths. But yeah, if you really want to learn how to stitch with it, Stitching Mommy has a FlossTube out, and I will see if I can remember to link it below. Yeah, she gave a really nice tutorial on how to use it, and that helped me quite a bit. So yeah, and sorry, it wasn't rolling up straight, and I kind of want to put it away so it doesn't crumple on me. Yeah, so that was Celtic Winter, and that one took me a little bit longer to stitch, about 40 days, just because of the Whisper and the conversion. So, and my last finish is, hang on, there we go. Oh, and Celtic Winter was stitched on ice blue, 28 count ice blue. I believe it was Witchilt as well. I will double check that, but I'm 99% sure that that's what it was. This is Celtic Noel or Celtic Christmas. She also took me about 35 days to stitch, give or take. And I did a few modifications on her. I blended some of the colors just because I wanted a bit of a more blended look. And this one is done on tea dyed 28 count. I'm pretty sure this is MCG Textiles, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I did some blends in there instead of what's called for, just because I wanted a more blended look. So that is my last finish that I have to show you guys. I have 3 or 4 more that are almost done. One is currently sitting in timeout because I'm off by 1 stitch somewhere and I cannot find it. And I have frogged and frogged and frogged, and I'm just done with dealing with the frog. So I will eventually see what I can come up with for that one and go from there. So that's all the finishes that I have for you guys. Yeah, I can't think of much else. I can do a whip parade if anyone is interested. I have quite a few whips, but hopefully I will be able to slowly whittle those down to where I only have a few whips, because I've found that I actually like just stitching on one piece at a time. So yeah, so that's everything. Bye, and have a great stitching weekend. See you.